if you're advertising dental implants and you think that your campaign is underperforming, you're not the only one. Out of all the campaigns that we look at, I'd say 80 to 90% are underperforming, not just by a little bit. They are drastically underperforming. And the crazy thing is, it's not because of mechanical errors. It's not because of bad development or the wrong keywords or this or that. It's something bigger. And it's super obvious. But if it's underperforming, it's probably going to be because of one or two things. I'm Bart Nellinger. This is Progressive Dental. Here we go. If you've got a dental implant marketing campaign and you feel or you think that it's underperforming, for instance, you're not getting enough leads or you're not getting enough quality leads, or maybe your definition of underperforming is that you haven't closed enough arches, you're not making enough money, you're not getting a good enough return on your investment. Whatever it is, if you feel like it's underperforming, and it is, there's probably one of two very obvious reasons why. The first actually has nothing to do with the advertising and the marketing itself. It has to do with just a lack of strategy development. That's the number one reason that I see from all the dental implant marketing campaigns that I've looked at and analyzed. You can tell right off the bat when you look at them, it's like, hold on, there is no clear strategy to what it is that we're trying to do. We're just marketing dental implants. We're just marketing a commodity, and that's it. Everything is about dental implants or the process of getting dental implants, and it's super generic. Just all the marketing ends up looking absolutely identical. You guys know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the ad that you see for the $49 cleaning, whitening, and free patient consultation. That takes place all over the country. It's happening now with dental implants. And the reason why is because a doctor decides, hey, these implants are profitable. Man, I'm pretty good at it too. I've got some good speed. I like it. I'm passionate about it. This is what I want to do. So the first thing you do is call up a marketing company and go, hey, I want to advertise dental implants. How much does it cost? They say, well, we can get you on a social media campaign for $4,000 a month, or we can do a search engine campaign for $2,000 a month, or whatever. Point is, the conversation goes straight into tactics within 10 minutes. There is no strategy. Guys, you have to have a strategy before you spend your money on advertising. And what is a strategy? Okay, if we're going to advertise implants, just implants in general, how specific or generic are we going to be? When it comes to strategy creation, the more specific you can be, the better the result that you're going to have. So some people are marketing dental implants. You might say, hey, I'm a periodontist. I really want to market implants in the aesthetic zone. It's something that we specialize in. Okay, great. That's super specific, easy to market, easy to create something compelling. Or maybe you want to do full arch dental implants, or maybe you want to do implant supported dentures, or you have a process for immediate load that's a little different, whatever it is. We have to first analyze what is it that we're going to advertise, what do you want, what types of cases do you want, and then how do you deliver that clinical outcome in a way that's different and or superior to your competitors. That's the first thing. And guys, sometimes they do a consultation and they're not doing it any differently. They're not. And I say, hey, if you advertise the same way as your competitors, the only thing you have left to beat them is to outspend them, which is definitely an option. You can choose to advertise just like everybody else and just spend more money, and you're probably going to do more volume, all things being equal or somewhat equal. You can just beat them with pure ad spend. It's definitely not the smartest way to do it, but it's one option. But sometimes, I'll look at a campaign and I'll say, hey, why are we advertising the same old all on four? Why are we doing it? Why don't we come up with something different? Why don't we come up with a system that's just yours? And every once in a while, we have to help a client develop. We have to look at the system and say, hey, this is going to be pretty tough to advertise. If you're an oral surgeon, we want to advertise full arch implants, and you're just doing surgery, and you're not even getting them through the provisional. That's going to be a problem. Out of 800 clients, I can't think of one that we actually advertise that way anymore. If I have that situation come up, I have a conversation with the periodontist or an oral surgeon. I say, hey, we really need to get a good lab tech, and we really have to get these people through their provisional on day one. They do want the provisional teeth on day one. So sometimes you have to innovate, but a lot of the strategies like, okay, here's where we are. We're at an arch a month. We want to get to 8, or we want to get to 10. Here's how we're delivering. Here's how we're doing the surgeries. Or before that, here's how we do our consultations, our smile design, our surgery. Here's what we do for our provisional. We've got a long-term provisional. We do it a little bit differently. Here's what we're using for guided surgery. Here's the type of final, and here's the multiple options that we have. Sometimes, some of our clients have a huge competitive advantage because they don't just do all-on-4 with zirconia bridge. That's not all they do. Sometimes they'll have zirconia. Sometimes they'll have an option for a nanoceramic. Sometimes they'll have an option for a monolithic composite. Sometimes they'll have a hybrid. Sometimes they'll be doing porcelain over metal in something super high-end, right? But sometimes their competitive advantage is that the fact that they have 4 or 5 different treatments for patients to choose from at 4 or 5 different budgets or prices to fit within people's different budgets. Again, whatever, but we need some kind of strategy before we advertise. So that's number one. Usually you get right into it. You go, I want implants. I'm going to buy Google AdWords. I want implants. I'm going to pay for social media. I want implants. I'm going to buy a website, whatever. That's so far down the road. The strategy comes first. That's number one. Number two, it's like right behind it, is content creation, right? So if you're the doctor that has 4 or 5 different options, different price points, you go, you know what? I'm not going to compete in this price war. It's not going to be a race to the bottom. I'm never going to be the cheapest, but I can show people that even if you have different budgets, right? If you have a $15,000 budget, we have something for you. If you got a $25,000 budget, we have something. If you have a $35,000 budget, we have something. And if you have a $10,000 budget, we have removables or whatever. If that's you, we need assets created for that process. We need assets created for those different options. You need to be interviewed, right? What kind of assets? That's number two. Lack of assets, no content. There was never any custom content created. I don't care how good the marketing is. It doesn't matter. If you pay for a television commercial and you're paying, let's say you're paying ABC for a commercial and you're gonna go on prime time on the news, doesn't matter what the commercial is. You're going to get your impressions. You're going to get your eyeballs, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the exposure and the impressions in the eyes. That's all you're buying with your money. Same thing with social media. You're just paying for the boosted post or the ad, depending on how big the audience is. For Google, you're just paying for the clicks. That's it. You're paying for the actual clicks. Once they click, once they see your advertising, once that happens, the quality of your content is going to determine how many of the eyeballs convert into leads and opportunities for you. So even if the marketing does well, I've heard doctors say, Bart, I tried Google, that doesn't work. I tried Facebook, that doesn't work. I tried Instagram, doesn't work. Oh, I did TV, that's a disaster. Didn't work at all. No, it all worked, I assure you, right? It all worked. You got in front of people and your marketing was seen. The problem was your content was garbage. It probably looked extremely generic because it was generic, and there was no time, energy, or money invested into the process of developing content. So the second that we have a strategy developed, the very next thing we do is, okay, now we have to build content. What kind of content? Patient stories. I need good before and afters. I need doctor interviews, videography, photography, and copy. We need to develop these things. And the content is definitely not the part of the advertising that you skimp on. It's not. Because the quality of the content is going to determine the amount of opportunities, which is going to determine the amount of arches that you're going to do or the amount of implants that you're going to do at the end of the day. Right? So once we create the copy, the photos, the assets, everything that we need, now your advertising is never going to look like anyone else because it's completely custom. You got to protect it through copyright, right? You don't have actors and actresses and stock images everywhere that every other doctor has. You don't have the same old tired call to action that every other doctor has, and you don't have to outspin them. You don't have to because your marketing is more specific. It looks better, it feels better, it looks high-end, and it's going to do a much, much better job of getting people converted, right? So when you're talking to people about advertising, you're interviewing companies, if you're interviewing a company, you go, man, all they do is social media. That's all they do, set up a ClickFunnels. Well, no matter what you say, everything to them is going to sound like a social media ClickFunnels, regardless of what your goals are or where you should be advertising. Same thing if you speak to somebody in media. Everything is going to look like a media buy. Speak to somebody in web development. Everything is going to look like a website. That's how it is in dentistry. These companies are super compartmentalized. So you have to work with like 6 companies to get one advertising campaign. That's why we set up our company as a full service agency, so we can do anything that's necessary, and we can build the copy and we can build the content from scratch. We can build the strategy from scratch. And oh, by the way, all of that still doesn't mean you're actually going to close the arches and make money, because there's still lead management, right? You have to be proficient in lead management. You have to be proficient in your sales process, and you have to be able to close the cases. So we take a 360 full circle approach when it comes to dental implant marketing, and specifically full arch dental implant marketing. It's not something we dabble in, it's all we do. We're in every single major market in the country. We've seen so many marketing campaigns, and like I said, usually the ones that are underperforming is 1 or 2 reasons, and it's either lack of strategy development or it's a lack of custom quality created content. So in reality, those campaigns, they were doomed before they started. They never had a chance. They never had a chance to get off the ground. If you gave me that campaign, I wouldn't let you spend a dime on it, because you know it's going to convert at an unreasonably low percentage. So I hope that helps. And if you're underperforming, call us, get a strategy, let's create some content, let's get you doing more arches.